The Gavin Newsom trolling of Donald Trump continues, but this time it's going to include more crypto. But more on that in a second. Welcome to Crypto Currents, the weekly podcast of people who work in crypto and blockchain actually talking about what's important in crypto and blockchain. No FOMO, no shilling, just everything you need to know to get smarter at crypto. Think of us like the Three Musketeers, bar, because Katya would kill me if I named anyone but her D'Artagnan. I'm your host, Vince, and today I'm joined by Katya from the Mew team.
I am Milady.
Oh, my bad. My bad. And Kale from the Encrypt team.
Hello, hello.
So there's a lot going on in crypto right now, and we'll talk about the the trolling of Donald Trump that is delightful to watch in a bit. But I want to start by rewinding things back to Bitcoin. So you saw that Bitcoin is adding EVM support through the BRC20 protocol, which will basically allow for more Ethereum-based protocols, actions, DeFi using Bitcoin. Talk to me about this, Katya. What are your thoughts?
So BRC20 is a protocol that exists, also known as the Ordinals protocol. So it has been around for a while. But it's my understanding, technically low understanding, that now they have incorporated the full EVM machine into the BRC20 protocol. So it should have the capabilities, I guess, the way it does on Ethereum. They also say now it's Turing complete, which I watched the movie, but I do not still know what that means. Anyway, and so, the discourse around it is that combine the security of Bitcoin, the high security, the originalness of it all, and the capabilities that the EVM machine gives. I don't know what that means in practical terms because Bitcoin is still going to be slower. It's still going to be just because of what it is. It's a different kind of animal. But when I was reading these things, we've been waiting, or I guess talking about the possibility of the flippening, etc. But what about a merge? Can you imagine like a merge of Bitcoin and Ethereum, just like a superpower, somehow? I mean, like,
I don't think anyone would be happy about that. Like the Bitcoiners or the true Ethereans, there's no one's going to be happy. Everyone's going to be mad.
No, and it wouldn't happen. It couldn't happen. But I was just for a minute, I was like, imagine if these like two humongous things.
It's a fun thought experiment.
But so, like, what's your take on this? Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Because for me, it feels kind of like antithetical to, the narrative of Bitcoin as a store of value, as digital gold. It makes sense to like take out a loan against your Bitcoin assets, but to then like try and like DeFi it up, that feels odd.
Yeah, to me, it feels like trying to do something badly that somebody else does well just because you feel like you're missing out or something. So I might be wrong because again, my technical understanding of this implementation is lacking. But I just feel like Ethereum is doing this really well, and layer 2s, and a whole bunch of stuff is going on over here. And so for Bitcoin to say now, oh, well, we have the EVM machine now, it's like, why are you even, why? Yeah.
Kale, what's your take on this?
I mean, I completely agree with Katya. Because, yeah, I mean, like, kind of like she said, it feels like it's just like people who are like, see somebody else doing it better and they're like just joining in for whatever reason. It's like, we don't need smart contracts and all of these capabilities on Bitcoin. Like, that's why we have Ethereum. So I don't know, it feels kind of redundant, but at the same time, it's like there are a lot of people in the Bitcoin community who only want to use Bitcoin. They don't want to transact on ETH. They don't want to transact on L2s or any other chain for that matter. So it's like for those people, like, this is exciting, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Also, like what Katya said, like no matter what they do, Bitcoin will always be slower and more expensive than Ethereum, if I understand correctly, at least. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Overall, it just kind of feels redundant and like we don't need it, but it probably serves like a small community of like Bitcoin maxis who are trying to do everything on Bitcoin.
Yeah, and maybe it's just because we're so in Ethereum. I've never met a developer on Bitcoin. Like someone
No,
that's like,
yeah.
I develop on Bitcoin. I'm like, I don't even know anything about
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Because there's like not really anything to do on Bitcoin.
I mean, I guess we've met developers from like the Encrypt integrated chains that do work that crosses, between Bitcoin and EVM, like Rootstock and things like that. So I guess
True.
we've met developers who are
The
enthusiasts.
in-betweeners.
Yeah, the in-betweeners who see like value in navigating the space between and are passionate about that.
I was curious what this news means for those chains, like those side chains, because
That's a good
doesn't
point.
the Bitcoin SVM, doesn't that kind of make them irrelevant? Like, wasn't that what Rootstock and Hemi and all of these Bitcoin side chains were trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's something we're gonna have to look into some more. I mean, obviously, this is very bleeding edge on this stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're already ahead of the game,
True.
in a more meaningful way.
Yeah, maybe because they are more in the Bitcoin space, obviously, than we are, they were able to position themselves for this sort of thing because they knew it was happening. But overall, I think like bullish for Ethereum because like even Bitcoin wants to be Ethereum. So
Speaking of
Sure.
wanting to be Ethereum, let's talk about Kale's favorite company, Kraken, offering tokenized stocks on
I think
Ethereum.
Kale should have like for every podcast he should have like either one of those like when you blow it, like the party whistle thing.
Yeah.
Either that or a shot, and he should do it every time Kraken is mentioned. He should be doing either a party whistle or a shot because
Can have AI pull a super cut of every time you just glaze on
Dude.
Kraken and send it to their team and be like, you should hire this guy.
That's not a bad idea. That would be fun content. Just take a shot every time. Anyway.
So let's talk about tokenized stocks on Ethereum. This RWAs are a hot topic. Talk to me about that, guys. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So Kraken is bringing tokenized stocks onto Ethereum via X stocks. It's not like super groundbreaking news. So this is like what we talked about was already happening like a month or two ago when stocks got brought on chain via X stocks, but it was on Solana. So at this point, it's like the same exact thing, but instead of on Solana, it's available on Ethereum now, which, like I said, it's not groundbreaking for like users like you and I, because we could have gone to Solana and done it last week. But for big money, like institutional investors, I feel like this will unlock a lot for them because Ethereum is where all the liquidity is at.
Right.
And so for all of these people, if they want to buy stocks on the weekend or they want to buy stocks after the stock market is closed, now they can do so and they can buy like millions or a billion or whatever amount they want at a time without like making things go wonky and bonkers because all the liquidity is on Ethereum.
True.
So yeah, overall a step in the right direction, I think. But I mean, not like super crazy news, but yeah, cool to see.
Katya.
But I feel like, I think it was Solana and then it was a couple of others, maybe Tron. And
yeah, there's more than
BNB.
Solana for sure.
Yeah, so I think a couple of others. And it almost feels to me, well, I don't know if this is true, but I would even say like those were test runs.
Probably.
For Ethereum because this is true. Ethereum is the liquidity whale for DeFi. It's where everything lives and where institutional investors want to deal with DeFi, and so I feel like that was prep, and this is the thing, the real deal. So, not groundbreaking, not news in the sense of it being possible, but I think again news in the sense that Ethereum is endgame.
I think it's interesting, because we just saw Ondo Finance launch theirs today on Ethereum as
Also,
well.
Ethereum.
And then they're going to add Solana. I'm always intrigued as to the order in which they add these, right? So Kraken did Solana first, and then it's like, whoopsie daisy, we should probably do Ethereum for the big boys. And then, Ondo's like, well, let's do, the tried and true, and then we'll branch out for these other things.
And then we just talked about EU possibly considering Ethereum or Solana, but also Ethereum for their stable coin, which may not be true at all. But yeah, so those two, I guess, are like, and I feel like for platforms, like for maxis, they might be either Solana or Ethereum, but for platforms, it's and
Yeah.
not or. They want both, and like you say, they may do it in a different order, but it's going to be both. But I still think Ethereum's endgame.
No, and
100%.
I think you're right. There's just too much going on. There's too much of a lead there. That even if you're moving fast and breaking stuff, I just don't think Solana's going to be able to catch up. But I could be wrong. So let's pivot a bit to offshore exchanges for U.S. citizens. This is some changing in regulation that will allow U.S. citizens to access like OKX, Binance, and some of these ones where they have been previously banned. Obviously, as self-custody wallets, like less interesting for us, but for these kind of like other brokerage firms, I do like to see, kind of the changing in regulation and allowing people to kind of like do their crypto the way they want, where they want. But what are your guys' thoughts?
I love to see it. I feel like I'm skeptical of how, I guess I don't know the right word, but like if this is gonna last, because I feel like we've seen similar things pass before and then not happen in the long term, or like get taken back, especially in China. Like China's always banning and reintroducing Bitcoin. Obviously this
That
is
is
like,
true.
like obviously this is totally different. But I mean, I don't know. There's a similarities. It's a government introducing new things, but like I don't know. Like I said, we'll see if we'll still be able to do this when the next president comes, or like 5 years from now. But yeah, other than that, I think that it's bearish for Hyperliquid because like the whole point of Hyperliquid was to do this in a decentralized manner, because U.S. citizens couldn't access perps trading through Binance and whatever. But now that this is a thing, yeah, I don't know. Hyperliquid is kind of bearish. We'll see if they can survive this.
Okay, so you're shorting Hyperliquid is what I'm hearing.
Possibly.
Katya?
So this is it's not like a new thing made for crypto. Apparently, there's this thing called FBOT, which I think is hilarious, but it's something foreign, something. So it's existed since the 90s, and it's platforms that companies, I don't know, can apply for a license, basically, like that thing in Europe, right? I forget the abbreviation for the European license thing for cryptos. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So um so companies can apply now for this license. Basically, they didn't make a new thing. They just said now it's open for crypto exchanges to apply for this, which to me is more, I think, encouraging, because it's not like, oh, we're gonna make this new thing and then somebody repeals it. It's an existing mechanism for 30 years now or whatever, and it's just they're now saying, a crypto exchange is an exchange, so apply for this and you get your license, and US people can use it. So I think I'm kind of I think there's a good possibility that this will stick. The other side of it is that it's regulation. So if they apply and they get a license, then it means KYC. It means, but I guess for those exchanges like Binance, that's the case anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you're using it outside the US, there's those people, are still undergoing KYC and all that stuff from the other countries. So, but Hyperliquid is decentralized. You're saying? I'm sorry, I've never used, but so I feel like this is not necessarily threatening for them, because what if somebody wants to do it, continue doing it in a decentralized manner, right? Like not just like an official. So like it's a different audience, I think.
For now, maybe, but like Binance has way more money, right? So like if they wanted to, they could just kill the hype moat and be like, oh, come to Binance and trade for free for however long it takes Hyperliquid to die.
Wow.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like money is just like, if you've got, the money to do it, that's easy to like starve people out. That makes me think of a really funny story. So in Belize, they have a 1-to-1 recycling rule for beer bottles. And so that means they take your beer bottle, they don't break it down and make a new one. They wash it out and reuse it for beer. And the biggest beer there is called Bellican. But for a number of years, a small upstart brewery started that made, I think it was called Capital. And they made Capital beer, and they had a very specific beer bottle. And so Bellican said to every single recycling center in the entire country of Belize, once they lost like a third market share to these upstarts, they said, we will buy every single one of their bottles that come through your facility for double. And they starved that company out of business.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, like that's what I'm saying. It's a dog eat dog world, and like everybody's trying to facilitate perp trading. Coinbase and Robinhood are introducing it too. So, you know, I feel like it's only a matter of time before Hyperliquid is like going to have to figure out a new moat, or they're just not going to survive. But yeah, I don't know. Time will tell.
Speaking of moats, let's actually dig down deep into the trenches with Pump.Fun's new addition, new innovation, new product, Ascension, which is more degeneracy, more products, more money all the time. Kale, talk to me about this.
Project Ascend. We're ascending, baby. So yesterday, Pumpfun announced, we're filming this on Wednesday, September 3rd. So Tuesday, September 2nd, I believe, they announced that they are going to start releasing Project Ascend with the intent to 100x the trenches. And so they're releasing it in steps, but what they did release so far on the first day was 10. So I don't know how to word this, but basically they're upping creator royalties by 10x.
Yeah.
And it went live immediately. So just over the first 24 hours, they've already shelled out $2.5 million to creators who are streaming. And yeah, I mean, that's the gist of it so far. It's just they're giving out 10x more rewards to creators because Pumpfun has a streaming thing now. So like you can go and stream on Pumpfun, kind of like how you stream on Twitch or stream on Kick or whatever, stream on YouTube. So it incentivizes like actual long-term community building from content creators, you know, because now creators are going to come from all over the place, from the woodworks, maybe from Twitch. Maybe guys will come from Twitch and start streaming on Pumpfun because they can make more money on Pumpfun. So yeah, we'll see where this ends up going, but it seems very exciting, super cool. I'm super excited to see like what content creators it brings on chain, if any.
I'm sure we'll see a bunch of hot tub streamers in no time.
Dude, yeah, no, you're not wrong. But also, this is just like the first step, you know? So like yesterday was the first announcement of Project Ascend, and they have other announcements that are gonna 100x the trenches, brah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what else they're gonna announce. But so far, so good. I'm pretty excited about it.
Katya?
So how does it work? Where does the money come from? I saw that it's like dynamic rewards. So I imagine that it's not just times 10 for everyone, like straight up. So like there's some kind of algorithm.
When you start streaming on Pumpfun, it creates a token for you, I believe. Mm-hmm. So people who, if they want to invest in the growth of your socials or your just brand in general, they can buy your Pumpfun token, and the content creator, the streamer, gets a cut of the fees of all of the transactions happening on his token. So if I wanted to go stream and say there's like 1,000 people watching me stream and they like what I'm saying or they like what I represent or whatever, so they want to buy my Pump token, I get a cut of every transaction that happens.
So the cut is bigger now.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly trying to lure content creators away from these other platforms with the promise of money. And I think that's a misstep. You know, someone that has been in content creation and near that my entire life, money is never the reason someone starts streaming or starts making videos anywhere. It's really about that audience building. So they can give away a whole bunch of money and that'll be great. I'm sure the people there are just making bunches of money being like, look at these candles or whatever kind of like content is there. Talking about candles, Katya.
Yeah.
I saw that look. But I don't think it's necessarily going to move the needle of like stealing people from Twitch or Kick, unless they're kicked off Kick. But that's Kick's entire shtick is like, did you get kicked off Twitch? Come over to Kick.
True.
And you know, as I've been dabbling with the base wallet and their new like tokenization of every piece of content, like it's horrendous. So like kind of looking at this model, I'm just like, I don't think this is gonna work. But that's me.
I mean, it's definitely much more sticky than the Zora model,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about another token, shall we? The Trump corruption token. So this is the latest move of Gavin Newsom. He's like campaign against Donald Trump by just doing exactly what Donald Trump does back to him. Talk to me about this. What does this say for the broader industry? It's funny. I think it's funny, but broader industry and this general vibe, Katya.
I don't know. I'm old fashioned, I think, in the sense that I would like the humans that I am potentially electing to office to act like adults and you know, to have some gravitas and wisdom, even if it is performative wisdom. I don't know. I just look at this and I think the discourse is being dragged down to the level proposed by the lowest common denominator. So, I mean, it gets views, right? Like we're talking about it. We looked at it and we're like, wait, no way. And it's a joke. I don't think he's going to do it. And also just the fact that I agree. We talked about this earlier. I agree that for an current president to be issuing his own token, meme coins, etc., and being only half aware of it, is not the way. I agree with that. I agree that it is a potential path to corruption, whether or not actual corruption is happening, but it is. I agree with that. But I think here, when Newsom or whoever else is going to be trolling Trump for launching a coin, all of crypto gets dragged in together. And so it's like fun making of crypto and dumping on this, like crypto is corruption. It's equating the goal, I'm sure, is to equate Trump with corruption. But in this particular example, it also equates crypto with corruption, which is obviously not what we want to see, not what we like to see. So I think it's an unnuanced take for us, of course, as a crypto community, maybe for everyone. So yeah, that's kind of what I think.
Tail?
I think that we should evolve past violence. And from now on, every conflict and every war should be solved with meme coins. Precisely. So yeah, no more wars, no more conflicts. We'll just start launching meme coins. Whoever has the highest market cap at the end of every Friday is the winner, and then we can just stop killing each other and all the bad stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, I mean, I saw this clip on Twitter and I couldn't tell if he was joking or not, but it would be hilarious.
It's kind of like the crypto version of like a sing off or a dance off, right? You know, like you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm in support of this.
Yeah, I agree with your sentiment, Katya, that this does kind of drag down crypto across the board. I think one thing that will be super interesting is if they do indeed go through with this. Which exchanges will be the first to list it? Because we saw when Trump launched his, Robinhood was the first one to list it, followed shortly by Coinbase. Both of which have given big old duffel bags of money to the administration. And I wonder if that will be seen as a sign of bad faith, if they will not do that, or if they will do that because that's what users want.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, it could be really fun to see just because I think it also will give you a clear idea of like where capital lines stand in, you know, the election and the value of like Gavin Newsom, or the value of the negative of Trump. But that would be interesting to see.
100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, but basically what you're saying, it's like, you know, the prediction markets and all that stuff. If you put if you put everything on the blockchain, if you put everything on chain and make everything a stock, essentially, you can measure things up against each other that you couldn't, like Kayla's saying, like the power of a meme, which one is better and which one is more powerful. And this does give, if you make a coin out of everything, you can compare them. If you make an apple out of everything, you can compare apples to apples, right? So even before when you get to elections and whatever, and there's polling and whatever, before you get to any of that ever even close, you can make coins and see which one is doing better. But of course, that the people who are trading those coins is a subset of the entire population. So you're
For
getting
sure.
a severe self-selection bias in this. And you can try to understand what that bias is, who are the traders, right? And what they prefer. But there is that bias there.
Yeah. But there isn't a bias, and that's in this podcast, especially this episode, which has now come to an end, dear listener. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you find our Twitter handles in the links below. Let us know your thoughts, what we missed, what we got wrong. Make sure you leave a review for the podcast. Follow the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.